what RTS was?
Oh,
We had 5 of them.
yeah.
I didn't get rid of it because of the county. I got rid of them to make some money.
Are they running them now?
Oh, yeah, one of them was licensed and everything.
Huh.
But,
Diesel?
yeah, some of them were the AP92 TAs, and some of them were the
My friend had a
Yes, ma'am. That's what you're telling us verbally. It's supposed to be reviewed every year. It
Does
doesn't.
it say that on it?
No.
Is there an expiration date on
No.
it? Tell them to say expiration date on it.
What judge are you in front of?
I don't know. Which one? As you go in the courthouse, he's on the left.
Taylor?
John Taylor, he's a good guy.
It wasn't to me.
He's usually a good guy. Maybe it's just me, but he told
I
me,
know,
he said,
I can do the
I
littlest
believe
things.
that's the closest I've ever had anybody as honest as you in this court.
Well, I'm going to follow you up, and that's how I could have. I had to be an inspector. I couldn't.
Well, my foreman had done something that was,
Short?
John Taylor.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
I'd like to call this meeting, the Mohave County Board of Health, to order. Robin, would you lead us in the pledge? please,
Certainly.
please?
Please join me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I assume you've all had an opportunity to review the minutes. I'd entertain a motion of approval.
Roll call first.
Roll call? Did I miss one?
Yes,
Oh,
you did.
roll call, let's do that. Should we start over here on my left, please?
My name is Dr. Nguyen.
I'm Senator Sockwell.
Bill Moon.
Robin Gordon.
And we'll show Gary Watson and Joanne Unruh and Steve Greeley are absent.
How about the minutes now?
Mr. Chairman, I move that we approve the minutes of the July 14, 2011 meeting as presented.
Yeah, have a second?
Second.
Have a second? All those in favor, please vote aye.
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 Motion carried. We now have a report from Mrs. Anna Scherzer.
Good evening. My name is Anna Scherzer. I'm the epidemiologist with the Mohave County Department of Public Health. And I was asked to put together a short report for the Board of Health meeting tonight on some subjects that came up at the last meeting. And so in the Board of Health meeting of July 14th, the question was put out and the proposition to make a short report on how barium, strontium-90, aluminum, and uranium oxide 238 can be consumed or brought into your bloodstream. So I'm going to talk a little bit about these elements tonight and bring them together and talk a little bit about the health effects that can come from an introduction of these into your body. I'm going to take you back to high school chemistry, which is going to be very, very tricky probably for most of us, myself included. But we've got 4 elements. We've got barium, aluminum, strontium, and uranium. And so you go back to high school chemistry where you got the nice big table of the elements that the universe is made up of. We're going to talk about 4 of them. And so it's a little bit different from what we usually talk about in the health department, which is infectious disease, bacteria, viruses, parasites, sometimes even some chronic disease. But we're going to step out and look into a little bit more of chemistry types of subjects here. So the first thing that I want to explain is anytime you look at exposure to anything, there's basically 5 things that you always have to consider when the question is posed, how is this going to affect me? And those 5 things are basically the dose, how much of this something gets into you, the duration, was this one meal that was served to you, was this 35 years of occupational exposure, and the duration, how you're exposed. Did you breathe it in? Did you eat it? Did you drink it? Did it get on your skin? Did it get in your eyes? That type of thing. And then you also have to consider personal traits and habits. So how old are you? Some of these things will affect children very differently than adults. They can affect fetuses very different from the rest of us. Are you male or female? Those are all types of considerations that you have to make here, some of your lifestyle choices and that type of thing. And then the presence or absence of other chemicals. Some chemicals and some elements can cause certain problems, especially when they're taken in conjunction with other types of things. And you all understand drug interactions, just prescription drugs, so you already kind of know a little bit of that in the back of your mind. So what I'm trying to get at here is that each one of these 4 elements is unique. There's a few things that are going to tie them together, but they're all unique. And really, when you look at how they're interacting in the body, you have to consider a whole myriad of facts. And we're basically going to barely scratch the surface tonight. So that's what we're going to do here. If you want to know and jump to the end of my presentation, these are the basic themes that you can see over and over and over again. So again, we're looking at barium, aluminum, strontium, and uranium. That was a request that was made. All of these are found in nature. They're found in the Earth's crust, they're found in rocks, therefore in soil, therefore in water, surface water, therefore in air that's blowing around out there. They're all found in nature. They all can be mined from the Earth's crust, and in fact, we as humans do mine all of these and use all of these in industry, different types of industry. People normally have some of all these elements in their body, although some of them are not necessary. No necessity has been ever found. They're not required by the body, but basically we all have these in our body at different levels. And all of these can be hazardous to your health under certain conditions. And so that's going back to the idea of dose, duration, the type of person that you are, so on and so forth. So we're going to go through the 4 elements, and basically the same themes are going to be touched on. This is a fancy slide here. We're looking at barium. And if you go to the Earth's crust, and if you're a miner and interested in getting barium out of the Earth, you're basically going to find it in 2 forms. That's the barite and the witherite. It's all details that don't really matter. Underneath that is the fact that once we get barium out of the Earth's crust, we form barium chlorate, barium chloride, barium acetate, barium hydroxide, barium sulfide, barium nitrate. The list goes on for hundreds of different barium compounds. The point is that we use quite a bit of barium out there. In life, as humans, we found quite a few purposes for it. Some of those basic purposes, medical tests and x-rays. We've probably heard of barium swallows and barium enemas. Barium is used, not surprisingly, in those types of activities. In oil and gas drilling, it's used as a lubricant or a drilling mud. When you're drilling a deep bore, a big, huge hole into the earth, the hole gets deep and you can create temperatures from the drilling motion that are really high. It can damage the drill. It can also damage the rocks that you're drilling through. And so barium is used in some of the lubricants that are used for that type of deep drilling. It's used as rodenticides in many parts of the world. That's killing rats, killing mice, that type of thing. It's also used in the production of glass. It's used as a glaze for ceramics and bricks and tiles. It's used in pyrotechnics. It gives the green hue to fireworks. It's used as a stabilizer in rubber and plastics. It's used in steel industry, used in photographic papers. The point is, it's out there, and it's used very commonly in lots of different things. Where do most of us, as a general population, get that barium into our body? I already showed you that basically we all have some of these elements in our body. And the bottom line you're going to see over and over for most of these is that they're coming from our drinking water or from our food. And since they're out there in nature, since they're in the Earth's crust, they're in the soil. When plants grow in that soil, they can take in some of these elements, including barium. If they're in the soil, then they can also end up in the drinking water. And so that's how we can take some of those into our body. If you're especially fond of Brazil nuts,